It's been a while since I felt like this. Everything nice, everything blessed. My season has turned around. God gave me a brand new song. Never smiled so much in my life. Can't hold it in, I'm bursting with pride. Cause what he's done for me, I want the whole world to see. Cause I'm a testimony of what he can do. Oh, if he did it for me, yeah, I know he'll do it for you. God makes everything better, 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 better. God makes everything better, 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 better. God makes everything better, 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 better. He makes all things better in time. Oh, it's been a while, but I'm smiling now. Frown upside down, 'cause you put this joy in me. I feel like I'm flying now. My feet lifted off the ground. 'Cause you've given me new life. I can't keep it in and I'm loving it. Overflowing in my soul. Have to let the whole world know that I'm a testimony of what God can do. If he did it for me, yeah, I know he'll do it for you. What did he do? He made everything better, 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 better. God makes everything better, 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 better. He makes everything better, 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 better. He makes all things better in time. Oh, oh, oh. Don't you worry, don't you worry, don't you worry, my friend. No, God is working and you win in the end. So wait a while and wear your smile and remind yourself that you are his child. All things are working for your good and your favor. Just put your hope and all your faith in the Father. You're going through, man, just go through. Know that God is with you and he's making everything better, better, better. He makes everything better, better, better. He makes everything better, better, better. He makes all things better inside. Better, better, better. He makes everything better inside. He makes everything better inside. He makes everything better, better, better. Oh, making all things better in time. Don't you worry, don't you worry, don't you worry, no, no, no. Worry, no, 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 no. He's got the whole world in his hands.
Good evening, and welcome to the lockdown listeners. Good evening. How are you, Ayana? How are you? Good evening. Yeah, keep dancing because they can't hear you at the moment. But keep dancing. Keep dancing.
I'm excited. I am.
Yes, man. Good to have you back. You're co-hosting this evening with me. Listen, what do you make of that song?
It better.
Better. You know, whenever we play that, right, the audience always go wild for this guy. And I thought, well, you know what? Let's get him in. And I know he's a good friend of yours. You've ministered with him before.
Yes. Quality human being. Love him from very, 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 very.
Quality human being. That is some description, man. Some description. So good evening to everybody and welcome to Watch Party 75. We are really glad to have you joining this evening. And we've got John Yarde from Barbados. So without delaying, shall we get him in?
Yes.
Let's get him in, man. Let's not waste time. Hey, good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, man. Welcome. How are you, bro?
I'm well. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, man. Listen, we've been eagerly looking forward to having a conversation with you for some time.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll tell you something. Listen, I was having a chat with Crystal Maloney this week, And I said to her, listen, man, I got John Yarde passing through on Sunday. And she said, oh, you finally got him. And I was like, what do you mean? She said, but you were talking about this 2 years ago. So this is how long I've been trying to get you, to sit down.
Man, but I'm glad that we're doing it now.
Yeah,
I'm glad that it's finally happening. Yeah,
absolutely. And I know that you've got a lot of respect for Ayana and her work. So I thought, why not bring her into the conversation this evening too?
Yeah, I'm really excited to start chatting.
No, you have to appreciate that, and this is one of the things that Jhon will probably touch on this evening. He is a guy that has to balance a number of things together, right, Ayana? Yeah, man. From feeding the baby to singing to ministering, just trying to keep everything going, right?
Yeah, and I guess that's life for you, man. That's
that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
So listen, you've got a UK audience. You've got some folks from around the Caribbean. Who is John Yarde, the artist? Who's Jhon the man?
Jhon is a 30-year-old guy from Barbados, raised and born right here in Barbados. I grew up in the Church of the Nazarene, Cave Hill. My dad is a pastor. My mom served with him at the Westmoreland Church of the Nazarene, and he has been there now for the last maybe 30, 20 plus years. Wow. 25 years I think it is. And my musical background is in one where I grew up as a musician, as a drummer, and I loved the drums. And my mom was in a group, my uncle was in a group, and I spent a lot of time in rehearsals watching them. And so my dream was really to play the drums, and my dream was to actually play for a John Yarde, not to be the John Yarde. I wanted to play for the dude who was up front doing stuff. But life would have it that I go ahead.
So let me. Well, that is very interesting in terms of where you come from, because your mom was a musical talent known by many people in Barbados.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
and really.
Of course, and for people who are watching, Jhon comes from a musical family, and he's obviously carried on that legacy.
Yeah.
So listen, looking at where we are in terms of this season, and Ayana, you mentioned this in the last conversation we had, how challenging it has been to be a creative going through COVID.
Yeah. I'm kind of wondering, Jhon, how have you been coping as a leader, as a musician, as a dad, as a husband? How have you been coping with a lot?
Well, I guess for me, I have a philosophy of life to just keep moving. Like stuff happens. It's inevitable that COVID is in some countries. The nations are opening back up. In Barbados, our Prime Minister shared yesterday that we're going to be opening back up, and we're COVID free. There are no cases in isolation, and we don't have any recorded cases on the island, so we're opening back up. But something else is going to happen. The hurricane season is on our shoulders. Like in life, something is always happening, and we just have to make up our minds to keep moving. So as a husband, we've been innovative in how do we date, how do we keep our date nights, how do we enjoy each other.
I'm looking for some tips.
COVID didn't do that. Our son did that. Even before COVID, we got pregnant, we had a child, and we had to change how we used to do things, because we went from just randomly picking up and going and doing anything to having to be very scheduled and to be very intentional. And then bam, here came COVID. So we already had that intentional heart and mindset, and so then it just meant we had to become even more innovative of how to do stuff inside of the house. So Mark, we cooked together, we cleaned together, we folded clothes together, we watched series, we sat down and talked. It was just we played Uno, we just did a lot of different stuff. As a musician, it meant that a lot more live performances were done on platforms like this. It meant that I had to be even more intentional about creating content. And being even more engaging on the social media. And as a creative, it meant that because I don't only work as a musician or artist on the stage, but I write, and I also write jingles for corporate Barbados. So it meant it meant that I had to figure out, again, innovation. I had to figure out how do I service my clients while not being able to access a studio. So I went and I bought myself an interface and a mic, and I learned how to record my own stuff at home.
Wow.
So I've been able to work from home, and I've recorded at least 4 records here, and then a few jobs from home. So I think the goal really is, in the face of challenging times, be it COVID, hurricane season, what sickness, whatever, is to keep moving. You know,
Right.
like, because like there's always going to be something that presents itself in our lives, you know, and for me that's really it.
No, I love that, and I love the fact that when I read your story, you know, it was quite intriguing because you, as you said earlier, you started as the guy in the back on the drums, and
Yeah.
from what I was able to gather, I think it was a trip to the United States that partly helped in your
Yeah.
transitioning towards becoming. Tell the audience a little bit about how that actually happened.
I studied culinary arts.
Oh,
Before
really?
music or anything, I did culinary. Someone said a rolling stone gathers no moths. That's right. You know, but I studied culinary arts before music or anything was a passion. I mean, it was always something fun to do, but my passion was actually food, culinary arts, being a chef. So I studied that program at the community college. I traveled to the United States. There's an island off of Massachusetts called Nantucket, and I spent 4 or 5 months there working as an intern. And then they brought me back the next year to work. So I did my internship. They were impressed. They brought me back to work. So in my first and second stint in Nantucket, I connected with a church there. And the first year I played the drums and I was very involved in that aspect. But when I came back the second year, they had some musicians from Jamaica. Yeah. They had a drummer and a keyboardist, and they were very good. So, and much better than I was. Actually, they were music students from the Ed Manling music school.
Wow.
And so for me, I was like, whoa, I don't want to play drums anymore. I want to watch him. I learn from him. You know? So I went from me being at rehearsals every week preparing for drums to me coming to rehearsal every week to watch the drummer.
Wow.
You know, and once, but because I had the ear, I'd sometimes help out with the harmony or just sing the harmony and say that's not the right harmony. And one week I remember the pastor came to me and said, no, the worship leader, the lady who's over worship ministry, she lived on Massachusetts, right? So she had to take the ferry over to Nantucket to lead worship, and she'd spend a day there. And I remember she was sick, and he asked me, would you lead? He said, no, he said, John, we have a problem. He said, the worship leader is sick and she can't come to lead. I said, no, you have a problem. because I knew what he was doing. He was asking me if I would lead.
And you're a drummer.
I was like, I don't have a problem. We don't have a problem. You have the problem, you know? And,
Wow.
well, but he was my leader at the time, and he encouraged me, he pushed me, and I'm really glad that he did. Actually, only today's the 27th. The 25th was 3 years since the debut album, and I actually saw, you know, sometimes Facebook reminds you about Facebook reminds you of the memories.
Yes.
So I saw a video that that my friends did, compiling a lot of people, friends, and that were there at the beginning of the journey, persons who were very involved in the album, and he was the last one. Really remembering and just reminiscing on that particular experience. Well, I'm glad that I listened to him, because the minute we started, it felt like I immediately connected with purpose, you know, and that was the start. I mean, there are a lot of other events that contributed around that, but that really was the catalyst of a lot of stuff for me in terms
You want to jump in there, Ayana?
I don't know, because I'm listening to him and I'm thinking of how important it is to be obedient. You understand? Because
I'm not hearing you.
I'm just thinking to myself how important it is for us to be obedient. Because because if for 1 second you decided to have a posture of that ain't for me. You understand? I'm a drummer.
Yeah, I think it's very important to submit to leadership.
Yeah.
I also think that it's very important to attach yourself to good leadership. You know, I'm not going to sit here and say, you know, because your leader says do this. You know, like, I believe that he asked me because he saw something. So he saw potential that I didn't see.
Wow.
And even though I didn't see it, I think it's also equally important to have a posture to serve.
Wow.
You know, because ultimately he wasn't just telling me to do something because he wanted me to do it. He really was just asking me to serve, and he was asking me to serve based off of the potential that he saw, you know. And so I do think it's very important to be able to submit to leadership, but I also think it's also important to have a posture to be willing to serve.
Excellent.
Because so yeah, that's what I said there.
So listen, I remember when Curtis Jordan was here back in 2017, and he was raving about First John, your album.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
man. he was
Curtis is
up
an
and
amazing guy, you know. Curtis is one of the first. Well, not one of. Curtis is actually the first guy. Play with my son's toy.
It's all allowed, John. It's all allowed, man.
But Curtis was the because I was in Trinidad studying, right? I was doing theology in Trinidad, theology and psychology, and Curtis was the first gospel artist that I met, and the first person to really take me to a concert and to really expose me to the you know, to just to the culture, to the vibe there. Yeah. He was there, and we were just talking. I was fascinated by Curtis because, as far as I was concerned, you are a full-time gospel artist.
Yeah. Jordan is a real guy, man. Jordan is,
I was so surprised by that.
Yeah.
Well, it's been so exciting. Like we connected, and he has been a really instrumental part of my journey too. You know, so big shout outs to Curtis Jordan.
Yeah.
So listen, the song "Betta" came off of First John the album, and it's quite popular. Tell us a little bit about the whole journey around creating your album First John.
So I guess for every artist, every creative, a body of work is important.
Yes.
You know, so and it always been a dream of me to do a full length album. So once I recognized that I was getting some momentum, and I also get leadership, I spoke to my mentor, and just really to let him know what I wanted to do, and I allowed him the opportunity to really tell me, because it's an investment at the end of the day. And the Bible talks about you better count the cost of that house before you build it. You know, so I wasn't prepared to just go and make that big investment if because it's one thing for people to say that you're good, because people do that. You know, they love you. This is Jhon that we grew up with, or Jhon from church. So are
they going to buy the album?
Correct. You know, because you're about to spend a couple $1,000s. So him and I, we talked it through, and we critically looked at just the market, critically looked at the product, and we agreed, you know what, we have something strong that we can take to market. I mean, it's ministry, but I'm not pretending that there's not a business aspect to this thing. I'm not pretending. I'm not there is a real business aspect. You need to start thinking dollars and cents if you're going to be investing in an album, because you better be able to ensure that you're going to at least break even on your investment. Yeah. People will be blessed, you know, who is for it before, but you better hope that you bet back the money you spent on that thing, because a couple $1,000s to spend. But once we were confident that we could create something strong, I already had maybe 50% of the songs written. We started the production period, and while I was producing the music, I was writing music, so music was being produced, I was writing music, and I was writing and submitting. So it was a long process. And I worked with some really cool guys. Beyond Noor from Trinidad, Ryan and Daniel Hamilton from Trinidad. In Barbados, Eliseus Joseph, Julian, Griffith, David Graham. Yeah, I had a really cool team working with me. Some really amazing singers, and that project was a lot of fun to do. A lot of fun to write, and a lot of fun to produce.
And Ayana, I'm sure this is something that you can relate to in terms of the business side. You mentioned the last time that you were just transitioning into that yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Doing the music full time is interesting, because and I'm stuttering because
you can appreciate the uncertainty.
I can.
For sure.
Yeah, and I'm getting into the voice acting now, and the voice ads, and doing ads, and a whole bunch of other stuff around that, you know. So, but it's interesting. I love it. So
one of our listeners is asking, what about Pastor John, a young pastor with the church and this music ministry? How is this going?
I'm oftentimes not really sure how to answer that young pastor thing.
Young pastor.
I mean,
do your best.
But I mean, I've been actually Sunday coming next week. Sunday's 5 years, and I've been a youth pastor for a number of years before senior pastor, and I've been around for a while, you know. But how do I manage being a pastor and a music ministry? Well, again, life is just about schedules, you know. It's just about like what is priority. So like for example, I don't do events. So I don't sing out on Sunday mornings. I don't care what church it is. I'm not coming to Sunday morning. I'm not going to close your show because I need to get home by a certain time because I'm not coming to church Sunday morning tired. You know, so they're just certain things for me because
Boundaries.
I have priorities. I have priorities, and my priorities mean that I put up certain walls. And that helps. So then the I actually don't sing that much at church. There's a worship team, and so again, I'm not trying to. I do it sometimes. Last week Sunday was the first Sunday we had church since COVID, you know, and I just took the responsibility of leading out in a short time of worship. It was pretty cool, and then preaching. But I think because like there's certain boundaries that I have put in place because I have priorities, and my church, and just being able to give leadership there is a big deal for me, you know, because at the end of the day, it's all ministry. And so I'm not Pastor John and then singer-songwriter Jhon. Like I'm Jhon, you know.
That's right.
That's just different facets to who I am and what I do. And like much like the person who plays hockey, has a 9 to 5, has a hobby, has a family, and
still the same
else. Like you still have to manage all of those things, and you do them according to priority. So you may have all of those 5 profiles, you know, and somebody asks you to come, let's go hang out. And you're like, well, I can't because I got to do this. So for me, it's the same thing. It really just comes down to what you value most and what you place, what you put as a priority. And as a young man pastoring, it has been, I think one of the biggest challenges has been, and no matter how, I think it's always going to be a thing just because we are used to seeing a lot older guys. I think that's changing. I think that is changing over the last decade. But we're accustomed to seeing, especially in the Caribbean, we're accustomed to seeing a lot older guys,
older pastors,
lead. And so there was, and there has been, and sometimes still is that bit of that weird feeling. So in a lot of ways, I really had to learn to stand in the grace that God gave me. And I also had to recognize that I had to earn the trust of people. So because I was pastor doesn't mean that I get to assert myself as an authority, but I had to be able to really gain the trust of the people around me, and also being led by the Lord, you know. So
I love.
Go
ahead. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, so I was saying that, you know, so it's been a really interesting space to navigate. But I'm really grateful for a community. I have just about 6 other young pastors. I should use the expression young. We've been doing this thing for a minute, yeah? We've been doing this thing for a minute. Don't mind that, you know, that young and handsome and stuff. And I love flying thing. My hair is sponge right now, but, you know. But I've been doing it for a minute, you know. So there are a couple of us, just about 6 or 7 guys who are all under 35, a few others who are under 40. And we talk a lot, you know. We talk a lot. We vent to each other. We share ideas. We pray together for each other. You know, so like we have a community that I'm accountable to, and that I grow with. You know, so all that helps to really work it through.
That is very, very special. And to be honest, you know, I love the humility of everything that you've said there, Jhon, and it paints a real important picture. You know, you are in a season. And you know, hopefully, as that season carries on, that you will continue to see and grow and experience and touch people. Now, when Ayan and I were thinking about which songs from First Jhon, we wanted to play 2 songs from First Jhon and then look at some of your new work. So this second song that we're going to play from the album is one that we love, and I'm sure you will have a story about this. This is Echo from John Yarde from his album.
Yeah.
I let my life be the first way that I express my love. I let my song be my life echo. My words are not enough to express, so I'm pouring out my life to you. I let my song be my life echo. And I just wanna say that I love you. And my intentions are to show you by obeying you. And I just wanna say that I love you. And my intentions are to show you by obeying you. Your word is a light to my soul. Give me your night apart and make me whole. And now let my song be my life echo. Let your glory shine inside and outside. So when they strip me down, they'll find that my song is my life echo. And I just wanna say that I love you. And my intentions are to show you by obeying you. I just wanna say that I love you. And my intentions are to show you by obeying you. I live my life with you, God. Give me all of you, God. Nothing else would do, God. I want all. I live my life for you, God. Give me all of you, God. Nothing else would do, God. I want all. I live my life for you, God. Give me all of you, God. Nothing else would do, God. I want all. I live my life for you, God. Give me all of you, God. Nothing else would do, God. I want all. And I just wanna say that I love you. And my intentions are to show you by obeying you. I just wanna say that I love you. And my intentions are to show you by obeying you.
Quite simply, wow. I mean, who writes a song so special? You know, and we could have picked anyone in it, Ayana.
It must be very special.
Special song. Man.
Yeah.
I always feel as though you're driving down the east coast of Barbados with the top of the car down if you've got one, and you're just seeing the sea whenever I hear that song, man. It's beautiful.
Oh,
beautiful.
Man. Thank you, bro. Thank you
and,
so much.
Yeah, man. There's been a lot of love shown for it as well by the comments that are coming through from people who are watching this.
I can't see the comments. Where can I go? You know, like, where can I go and see the comments? Where is it streaming from? Thank you, Delores Marcy. Dolores. Where can I? Where's the
I am Mark One. That's my Facebook page. If you go on to I am Mark One, you'll get it right there. So listen, there's there's a lot of collaboration happening in your new season. So first, Jhon, was
Yeah.
your first album,
Yeah.
and just like Ayana, who is reaching out to so many other artists and doing stuff together, you seem to be in a season of collaboration as well at this point in time. How is that going?
Yeah, man, I think it's important. I really do believe, I think you would have heard me say this quite a few times. I believe that community is important, And so while I'm working on this new project, I have worked with a lot more songwriters and a lot more producers than I did the first time. Actually, no, more writers. I've worked with predominantly one producer and two other guys. But yeah, so that for example, I've included Daniel Hamilton a lot more in the writing. So the last album I wrote 13 of the 14 songs.
Wow.
This time around, I've only written maybe 10 of the 14 songs.
Wow.
So like, I've let go and I'm leaning on my team a lot more, really, because I don't want to become monotonous. I think, and I also think that I have a great team around me, and so why not lean on the strengths. It doesn't have to come from me for it to be good. Like, I think I'm very good at what I do, but I also think that there are people out there who are better. So Daniel is one of the writers that I've worked with. There's a gentleman here in Barbados. His name is Omari O'Neill. He wrote one of the records, and then just allowing other people. His brother Ryan, we wrote one together. Just allowing other people to be a part of the process, just for the purpose of ensuring that it is done at the best that it possibly could be. So like, Jhon has his limitations, but I do believe that there's a lot of value that a lot of people can bring, and I trust them to bring it. So.
Wow.
So yeah, so that's why I've decided to really include a lot more people in my journey.
No, that's great. You wanted to jump in, Ayana?
Yeah, because I was wondering, in terms of you being involved with what you're doing for so long and doing it as much as you do it, what keeps you motivated? What keeps you going?
I think passion. Like, you gotta love what you do.
Yeah,
like, you got people, you gotta love what you do, and so I think ultimately for people, they got people who go to jobs that they hate for years. Like, they're motivated, their passion is being able to get that paycheck to do their whatever is need, and that might not even be their passion, it's just be out of necessity.
True.
But like, for me, I love what I do. So whether I get paid for it or not, I do it most times because I love it.
Wow.
I mean, I'm not gonna say that I do everything for free. That's not true. I'm not even gonna pretend, But because I love it, I'm gonna find ways to do what I do. So like, because I love music, even though I've not been on stages, I've still made myself available to do stuff. I've reinvented myself in many ways because I love it.
You're gonna love this question. You're gonna love this question.
Yeah. Oh, I saw it, man. They be tripping, yo. The saints be tripping.
Yeah.
The saints be tripping sometimes,
Yeah.
So for me, there are 3 things that I give myself to, no questions asked, for free every single time. I actually call it 4. I will always give myself to anything that is raising funds for people who are not well. Yeah. Anything that is given to raising funds for education, anything that is missional, and I've actually had to do some more investigation because I realize not everybody's a mission trip is a mission trip, But yeah, if you know, you know. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. But missions and evangelism, particularly missions, and anything that is generally just a worship experience, And again, not any worship experiences, because you go really, like, the saints be tripping, like I said, they
grumbling.
But I'll be honest with you, if you are trying to raise funds to build a roof or a guard wall, nah.
Not John Yarde.
Nope. I'm not the guy. I'm gonna say we're gonna have to talk. It's just the truth, But so I have the things that I give myself to. I do it every day of the week if my wife allowed me to, because I believe in those 4 things. But if you're having a building fund, unless it's the church within my organization, our church, I have close relationship with the leadership.
Right.
Apart from that,
No, I love that
fully honest with you.
I love that you have these very strict boundaries, because where things generally fall down is when people don't set boundaries, and not only that, if they set boundaries, they don't make them understood. And I love that you are very explicit about, this is what I do.
Yeah,
these are the things I don't do.
I think it's easy to be misunderstood when you don't communicate clearly. You know, like
absolutely.
for me, I am not a person that is blunt. I don't think that I'm blunt. I think that I try my best to be clear and as understanding as possible. You know, so like I understand that not everybody I'm aware that not everybody understands how things work.
Yeah.
And so like with some people, I'm very gracious and very patient, and I take the time to explain. Others, I recognize, oh, you really don't clear. So I just like, all right, cool, whatever, you get over it. You know, like, I'm not losing sleep over that.
Wow.
I'll recommend my friend for you. Like I had an experience recently before COVID. It was a hotel. It was Easter time. At a hotel, they wanted to have an Easter breakfast something, a breakfast lunch something, and they wanted me to sing for 4 or 5 hours for $200. I was like, no. And I said to them, I explained to them why I'm not going to do it. And then I said to them, and I'm not recommending any of my colleagues to do it either.
Yeah.
That's
Listen,
ridiculous.
our producer tonight will be enjoying what you're saying, because he's always talking about, you know, if you don't value what you do, and if you don't value the work and the effort, nobody else will. So listen,
it's true. It's true.
Let's look at this collaboration then with the Fisherman.
Yeah.
We love this song. It's called Count Your Blessings. This is Count Your Blessings by John Yarde and Nathaniel, the Fisherman from Trinidad. Let's hear this one.
Open up your eyes and see this beautiful blessing, this gift that we call life. This gift called life, we only have it for a time. So make sure to spend your moments choosing what's right. Choosing what's right. So chase what matters, do what's real. Say I love you, laugh until. Make new memories and new friends, cause life is a journey, so keep moving. Embrace the hard times, don't lose faith, cause there'll be sunshine after the rain. Don't give up, don't walk away, cause life is beautiful. So count your blessings one by one, yeah. Look all around you, count your blessings one by one, yeah. So much to be grateful for, your blessings one by one, yeah. Just might surprise you just how much God has done, yeah. So count your blessings one by one, one by one by one by one. So count your blessings one by one, one by one by one by one. I cannot deny, that me coulda ever really make it in a life. Thank you, Father, 'cause you always provide everything that we need, our needs you supply. Yes, you supply. I remember when we were kids, we never had too much of us, enough food we live. Sometimes we don't have food, I just water in the fridge. But through the house full up, I love me feel like I'm rich. Like me grow up privileged. Thank the Lord for humble beginnings. Me not gonna switch up for material things, but grateful for everything God brings. John Yarde and Fisherman I sing. So count your blessings one by one, yeah. Look all around you, count your blessings one by one, yeah. So much to be grateful for, your blessings one by one, yeah. Just might surprise you just how much God has done, yeah. So count your blessings one by one, one by one by one by one. So count your blessings one by one, one by one by one by one. Count it up, one by one by one by one. So count your blessings one by one, one by one by one by one. One by one, 2 by 2, 3 by 3. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. One by one, 2 by 2, 3 by 3. 1 and 2 and 3. Oh yeah. Watch all the blessings that fall upon me. Watch all the blessings that fall upon me. 1 by 1, 2 by 2, 3 by 3. 1 and 2 blessings that fall upon me. Watch out the blessings that fall upon me.
Wow.
Yo,
Count your
I
blessings.
really like that song.
Listen, Ayana, I can let you jump in here in a minute, right? But there are two things I got to say about this song. One, the attention to detail. You see the shot with the two old ladies sitting up in the tree, and the lyric about memories. Now that is detail.
I can't take any credit for that. I have to give all of the credit away. The videographer, his name is Jawade Elibox.
Oh, beautiful, man. Listen, and the second one, the lyric about, growing up when there's no, all that's in the fridge is water, but there's love in the house. Listen, man, that's scrape away at my soul.
And that's all Nathaniel. That's all Nathaniel
The Fisherman.
right there. Yeah.
Wow.
That's
No, man. Listen, it's a beautiful song, and it is "Count Your Blessings" by John Yarde and Nathaniel Hamilton, the Fisherman. Beautiful, beautiful song. You want to jump in, Ayana?
I have to come back to the when I do it, I have to tell that take a little shoulder and love. I'm thinking proud of you.
Ayana, I'm not sure why I'm not hearing you. So I'm not hearing you well.
Oh yeah, I'm known as a kid on my own.
Okay. Let me jump in. Let me jump in for you.
Thank
So,
you.
so John, listen. We love First John the album.
Yes.
We see these emerging collaborations, and of course the question now has to be about where is the vision going, and of course we want to hear about the latest song that you've just released, Best Thing Ever.
Okay, so like I said, like this new album, we're working on a lot. I'm working with a lot more. I've changed up a lot of the team. So last album, I've built some really great relationships with the Hamilton brothers, and I consider myself the third Fisherman, but I really love those guys. I really do, and I do think they're amazing at what they do.
Yeah, boy.
Yes.
And so Daniel is really spearheading this album. He's at the forefront of it with the production. So he has produced most of the songs. However, this particular song was done by the Bajan, and his name is Clarke. So Andre and I, we wanted to do a record together. I came over and we were just back and forth for ideas until something just clicked and we wrote this song. And I knew that this song needed a chanter. I know somebody who could chop it up a bit, and so Nathaniel was the option. This next song, or the latest song, is called "Best Thing Ever," and this is the first This is the first single from the album that has been released that I did not write.
Right.
So far I've released. This is the fourth song, and it's the first one that I did not. My pen was not involved in it. Daniel again, he wrote it, and it was produced by Lesroy Byers from Antigua.
You're a true Caribbean artist, man.
Yeah.
Man, no, listen. Once, if I find someone who's able to do excellent work, and we connect and we have a cool relationship, and we're gonna work.
Yeah.
We're gonna work. Like once it meets the standard that I'm happy with, because I don't care how good you are. If you suck as a person, I'm not interested.
Yeah, boy.
But I don't care. I do not care.
Yeah.
So like Daniel, he sent me this song. Actually, this song was sent to Nathaniel. Even though they're brothers, he still submits song to his brother to consider, and it was also sent to Samuel Midas.
Yes.
To consider, and so I got it as well, and I was like, bro, I'm taking it.
Tell the rest to forget it.
I love that it pushed me outside of my norm, but so it was different from what I do, but it was still close enough that it made sense. Because for me, you always want to evolve, you always want to grow, and I really think that there's a misconception that in order for you to grow, that you have to do it all yourself, or for you to, as a musician or artist, a creative, for you to really go to the next level, that you have to be at the center of it, and that is not true.
Yeah,
True.
it's true.
So true.
So listen, it is called Best Thing Ever.
Yeah,
And
best thing.
We're gonna just drop it.
Is Jesus is the best thing ever. Yo!
Let's play this song.
You brought me through some things, all I could do is stand back and say, wait, sir. Could you know? Lifting me off of the ground to this place, and it's a little confusing, cause I know I don't deserve it, but it don't matter to you, so to tell you the truth, I gonna take my blessings in silence. Since you come through, I never back down from nobody. Since you come through, I find strength can't get from nobody. Since you come through, I feel rich even when I have no money. Comfort when I have nobody. You got me all caught up in my feelings, contemplating the way you keep me. You got me all caught up in my feelings, contemplating the way you keep me. Jesus is the best thing ever. 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 God, I remember the valley on the south side. You bring me through that. And the mountain on the north side. You bring me over. When sickness come, try knock me down. You put everything back in order. And when dark times come, nobody around you, the friend closer than the brother. Hey, since you come through, I never back down from nobody. Since you come through, I find strength can't get from nobody. Since you come through, I feel rich even when I have nobody. Comfort when I have nobody. You got me all caught up in my feelings, contemplating the way you keep me. You got me all caught up in my feelings, contemplating the way you keep me. Jesus is the best thing ever. 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 Yeah, 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 yeah. When everybody leaves me, you don't. When everyone forsakes me, you won't. No. What everybody can do, you can. Forever I'ma live in your head. Since you come through, I never back down from nobody. Since you come through, I find strength can't get from nobody. Since you come through, I feel rich even when I have no money. Comfort when I have nobody. You got me all caught up in my feelings, contemplating the way you keep me. You got me all caught up in my feelings, contemplating the way you keep me. Jesus is the best thing ever. 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 Jesus is the best thing, best thing, best thing. Jesus is the best thing ever.
And that is the latest song from John Yarde.
Yes.
Available everywhere.
Everywhere.
Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes,
Wherever you
you
like
pick
to
up your
watch
music
music,
from.
yeah.
It's out there.
Yeah.
Tremendous track. Tremendous
Thank you.
track.
Yeah, and again, I have to give the credit away. I'm just the voice, but the real genius behind this song is Daniel Hamilton, and also Lesroy, the producer. The videographer is again Jawade, Like this song is nothing without those guys, you know. So this really was a full team effort.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So a couple of quick ones before we get to our final question.
Yeah. No problem.
Where was the video for Count Your Blessings filmed? It looked like the East Coast Road in Barbados to me.
So East Coast Road, yes. Morgan Lewis, Windmill. Yeah, those two locations.
Okay. And how did your drumming, starting out as a drummer, did that enable the transition to being a worship leader and songwriter?
I'm not sure. I think I think the rules of music apply regardless to where you are, you know. So like drumming helped me to understand rhythm. Rhythm is a very big part of music, you know. So like as a songwriter, like there are three major components to writing a song: your melodies, your rhythm, and your harmonies. You know, not harmony as a 3-part harmony, no, but the note values that you choose. You know, so like drumming brought that to me. So when I start writing, I'm already imagining what the music sounds like. I know what the groove is like, so that helps me then to sometimes use the right melodies to match that, or to use the right lyrics to match the vibe. You know? So like, I think also because of being a musician, I have a perspective of what I want everything to be. So then I'm able to communicate with the band or with the producer to tell them exactly what I want. So yes, I think that it has helped in some ways. I mean, from time to time, whenever we have a rehearsal, like I try to jump on the drums before the rehearsal actually starts, you know. So before we really get into work, because like for me, once it's time to rehearse, work has started. So right before that work window of rehearsing and making sure we get everything right, I like to go and have some fun on the drums. So like I did like recording yesterday. There's a live show. You can check my Facebook page for it on my Instagram. But there's a live show July 19th. It is the set alone looks amazing. Like it trumps any online secular show I've seen in the entire COVID time.
Wow.
No, and I'm not trying to gas up this thing. Like it's amazing. Like
We take your word for it, man.
Look out, like I felt like I was on some like I was on the like a Grammy stage performing or something. It's July 19th. Check out my Facebook page. There's going to be a really, if you're on Instagram, check out my Instagram page. I've posted the post already, and it's going to be pretty awesome.
Well, listen, I'm sure you're gathering some new fans here tonight for sure.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite genre, Jhon?
I love jazz.
Aye.
Yeah, I love jazz music. I think jazz music is my favorite. Yeah, I like to listen to instrumentals a lot. I know this is just for entertainment. This is just like, I love to listen to jazz because I love to hear I love the complexity of it, but yet the beauty of it. Yeah, so I enjoy jazz music. It's complicated, but it's set so simple. And but as an artist, I think I love a lot of the kind of pop CCM stuff. So I like fusions. So this song wasn't featured tonight, but there's a song that I really, really like from the album that's called no, this isn't my favorite John Yarde song, but it's I just saw that comment, but it's My Everything. There's actually a music video to it also on YouTube. I think for me that is my favorite genre to create, that mix between Caribbean and that pop contemporary. Yeah, so I love that bounce where it's just in the middle. So like, best thing ever is a little left, you know. Count Your Blessings also is a little closer because it's a more Caribbean, but both of them still have a lot of pop elements in it. If you listen, Best Thing Ever and Count Your Blessings, they have strong pop elements in it along with very strong Caribbean characteristics. But My Everything, it sits down perfectly in the middle of Caribbean and pop and the CCM. So like that's where I love the fusions a lot. So I think that would be my favorite genre. My favorite John Yarde song has not been released as yet.
What? I thought you would say release the songs, man.
Nah. No. It hasn't been released as yet.
Okay, we're looking forward to that.
Yeah.
So when is the next album due out?
Well, we were actually planning to drop the album August this year. But COVID came and we decided, you know what, we're going to push pause a little bit
Right.
and just figure out some stuff, do things even better and bigger than we were planning. We may still get the album this year and have a huge launch party next year, or we may just wait until the launch party next year and drop the album. But we've been working. I'm excited. It's an amazing body of work.
Right.
I really believe it's going to be a blessing to you.
Yeah.
There's a song called My Jesus and My Song, a song called Prepare the Way, a song called Abba, a song called Found Faithful, Dream Alive, Hosanna / Christian Party.
Are you prepared to tell us what the name of this album is going to be?
My Everything.
My Everything by John Yarde.
It's
Coming this
really,
summer.
really going to be a look into my life, you know, so like my everything. So God, I love him with all my heart, mind, soul, and strength, and my neighbors, myself. And so it's just an expression of the things that mean the most to me.
Wow.
So me, so the acronym is me, my everything.
Beautiful. So listen, I don't know if Ayana's song is any better, but I'll try and ask this last question. And I did ask this of her.
Yeah, I can hear her. Let him know.
Yeah?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We were
The headphones helped.
It did.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm glad. Okay, good. So, quick question. So you want me to close the phone now? Oh, we have a little. I hope we do. I enjoy. Right, we wondering, those young people who are listening, tuned in on, you know, what advice do we have for that young minister, that young music minister, you know, who's listening and love your music and they encourage me, even by your testimony, by your sharing this evening? What words of advice would you have to encourage them this evening?
I think my advice would be, don't do drugs, stay in school. Wait, my battery is dying.
No.
Yeah, no, really, I think my advice to that person would be like, surround yourself in a community. I think that there's a lot of power in persons that are like-minded and not just creatives, you know, but like as a Christian young man or young woman, like surround yourselves with godly people who are doing what you want to do, and not just people who are doing what you want to do, but people who are doing it well, you know, because I can't stand in gospel music ministry those guys that are complaining all of the time about nobody chooses me or I hate that, you know. It's like just put your head down and work hard. When people realize the actual hard work that goes into building a ministry that people want to experience, they start complaining. But I'd say surround yourself with godly people who are doing what you want to do well, and I emphasize godly people because they're people who are doing it well, and I'm not pointing fingers and just being honest. There are people who are doing it well, but when you get close to them, you don't see a lot of Jesus, you know. So I'd say community is very important. I'd also say clearly define your why, you know, like clearly define your passion and your purpose. And I really hope that at the center of that is Jesus, you know, because like there's a lot of attention. There is a lot of attention when you start doing music well, and whether it's gospel or secular or whatever. Once you're doing well, once there's excellence attached to it, people pay attention. You know, and like, you need to be rooted in your faith, you know, and so that you're and in a community, so that you're able to really navigate not just all of the attention, but also a lot of because with the attention comes the celebration and the fingers being pointed, you know. So once you're secure in your why, and in your who, and you're secured in the community, like that helps you to really navigate that. The community also really helps you to sharpen you. The community helps to provoke you and push you. So like example, my community is made up of Samuel Midas, Nathaniel, Mark Isaacs, and I just added another gentleman from Barbados. His name is Philip Kelman to that circle. And those guys provoke.
That's a strong circle, man.
They provoke me, you know. So like we have this thing where we share our music with each other, but sometimes if we have count your blessings, I ain't share count your blessings with nobody. I was quiet with that one.
This one is mine.
Yeah, I can jump everybody, you know, and I just got messages like, you're sneaky,
Yes.
you know. Mark Isaacs with his song Validate, I was like, shh.
Yeah.
Nathaniel with his, I was like, all right, I see you. So like, there's that healthy sense of, I'll use this word, competition. No, we're not trying to beat anybody or be better than each other, but we provoke each other unto excellence, you know. So the community helps with that. So like you're held accountable. Like sometimes Mark goes, John, that was lame. He was like, no. Actually, funny story. I remember I was writing this song. I was convinced that this song was amazing, and the lyrics were, you know. And I was like, yo, this melody is so beautiful. So I'm there like, what were the lyrics? The lyrics went, you were before the sun, and you've seen everyone. Now and forever you are God. So you were before the sun, S-U-N, and you've seen everyone. Now and forever you're God. And I'm going on. And Mark was like, John, you fool. That's the melody to do it again.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I had heard do it again, like in passing. Like it wasn't a song that I knew. I just randomly heard it somewhere, and I remember it stuck into my brain like a worm wiggling into my brain. And so like, I was just there creating by the piano, and I just felt this melody really come on me, and I just poured these lyrics to it. And so I no when I get an idea, here's a tip for every young artist. Yeah, no, that's, you can laugh. I've already exhausted it. but a tip for every young artist: do not send your song for feedback. Yeah, do not send your song for feedback after you have already been to the producer and you have the rough mix already. Like, don't send me your song for feedback at that point. Like, because if you ask me for feedback at that point, I'm gonna tell you what I think. And if I think that this song is whack, I'm not gonna say it's whack, but I'm gonna let you know that I don't think it's a strong song, right? But if you send me the song in the demo phase, like when you're now figuring it out and you're not singing in the right key or you flat or whatever, I don't care about those things. My demos are not pretty, but my girl crying, yes.
She recognized my mistakes.
But if you send it to me then, and there's something that can be fixed, we can fix it.
Yeah.
And make it as strong as it possibly can.
Yeah.
So and again, I sent that to. You imagine if I had gone to somebody.
Jesus, Lord,
You-
Father.
You imagine if I had gone and paid somebody who did not know the song because it was a new song at that time, right? Who had not yet heard the song, and they were like, "Yo, John, I love this," and we start producing that song. We already put time into this thing. I wrote the whole song, and then I send it to Mark. I will feel sick.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Wait, if my Mark pull up, they do it again by Elevation and send it to me, I will feel so sick. You know, so like that's another tip right there. Like don't wait until you finish a whole demo and you've been to this. No, send it in its rough stage. It doesn't have to have music. Like, I'm not much of a keyboardist. I can play to write. I can play guitar to write.
Right.
And they get it in those rough stages. And like sometimes they're like, yeah, John, this is a banger. Or like, maybe we need to fix this, or maybe we can do that. You know, so like, that's what the community helps in the process. You know, so it helps to ensure that excellence is always the end result.
That is.
And even with the lyrics, like even with the lyrics, like a lyric may not be very clear. You know, it's not that it might not necessarily be the strongest. I'll use an example. I remember I'll use Mark Isaacs. That's my brother, so I can do this, and we've talked about it. His song "Validate," when he first sent it to me, I said, bro, I love this record, but I feel like you need to put this in context a bit clearer. You know, like, so that's when he added the line. Once the Father says, "Well, good done, my servant, I good." So he put it in context. It's not that I don't care what people say, because like as Christians, we ultimately are in community, we're held accountable to each other.
Yeah.
And like, what you say has value, you know, even like I grow from each other. Leadership's opinion has value. So like when he put it in context though and said, once the father says do it and I do it, I good. Once the father says, well done my servant, I good, because I've done what he said. And I was like, that's it. The song is now complete, you know. So like again, community helps with that. So like there's nothing done with his lyrics, but it needed some more. And a friend of mine, the same song, My Jesus, My Song. The song actually ended, and it was going like this: "Cause I've got my Jesus and a song." Cause I've got my Jesus and my song. Right, that's what it was. My friend heard it and he was like, you know, John, I feel like I've got my Jesus and my song could be stronger. So then he was like, cause I've got my Jesus and a song inside of me. And I was like, yes, that's it. You know? Yeah. So like again, community helps to ensure excellence. Once you have excellent people around you who are doing what they do well, like you can be pretty confident that your product is always that your song, and I intentionally say product and not just song, because this is a principle that trumps music, you know. This is a principle that can be applied to every discipline of life.
Now, I wanted to just leave you alone to give that answer, because I really felt that there's so much vulnerability in opening up yourself in community. But look, if John Yarde and Ayana, who has a similar approach to making music, if you guys are doing it, I'm hoping that any young musician out there who is watching or listening will recognize that you have to be vulnerable, but you have to have that community around you, but who are going to be wise and who are going to give you the kind of guidance that you need, not to destroy you, but to build you up and help you to get to a much better place as a minister and as a musician and as a person generally. Listen, this has been Watch Party 75 with John Yarde. I mean, what can I say? Thank you so much, John, for coming through. Thank you so much for taking time out of the craziness of your life. I know, you know, to come and spend some time with us this evening.
You're welcome.
Really
and from all of our listeners, I'm sure you know those guys will go in and find First John and all of your new music and give you a subscribe on YouTube also.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you for joining us this evening, John.
God bless you. Have a good one, everyone.
Bye.
What a guy, huh?
Oh God.
What a guy.
Listen, you ever talk to somebody and you feel like you had something like poured into you? You know, refreshed.
Yes.
You feel full.
Yes.
That's how I feel this evening.
Yeah,
I really spoken with him.
I really appreciated how open he was and how vulnerable he has made himself.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, the maturity that John has shown with everything that's going on around him, to recognize that it's not just about me. It's not about me, John Yarde. It's about the team. It's about finding the right balance. But importantly, it's about having boundaries. Because that is a takeaway for me from his conversation as well around. You just need to know when to say no. There's some things that you have to say no to and be firm about it. Listen, I want to thank you also for taking time to come in and join me as a co-host this evening. So thank you very much. That has been Watch Party 75, and we're going to go to count your blessings one by one from John Yarde and the Fisherman. Have a wonderful evening, everybody, and thank you for joining.
Bye.
See you again.
Open up your eyes and see this beautiful blessing, this gift that we call life. This gift called life, we only have it for a time. So make sure to spend your moments choosing what's right. Choosing what's right. Here's what matters, do what's real. Say I love you, laugh until. Make new memories and new friends. Cause life is a journey, so keep moving. Embrace the hard times, don't lose faith. Cause there'll be sunshine after the rain. Don't give up, don't walk away. Cause life is beautiful. So count your blessings one by one, yeah. Look all around you, count your blessings one by one, yeah. So much to be grateful for, your blessings one by one, yeah. Just might surprise you just how much Jah has done, yeah. So count your blessings one by one, one by one by one by one. So count your blessings one by one, one by one by one by one. I cannot deny, that I coulda ever really make it in a life. Thank you, Father, 'cause you always provide everything we need, our needs you supply. Yes, you supply. I remember when we were kids, we never had too much of us, enough food we live. Sometimes we don't have food, I just water in the fridge. But through the house full up of love, we feel like I'm rich. Like me grew up privileged. Time the Lord for humble beginnings. Me not go switch up for material things. Grateful for everything God bring. John Yarde and Fisherman I sing. So count your blessings one by one, yeah. Look all around you, count your blessings one by one, yeah. So much to be grateful for, your blessings one by one, yeah. Just might surprise you just how much Jah has done, yeah. So count your blessings one by one, one by one by one by one. So count your blessings one by one, one by one by one by one. Count it up, one by one by one by one. So count your blessings one by one, one by one by one by one. Count your blessings. One by one, two by two, three by three. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, one by one, two by two, three by three. 1 and 2 and 3. Oh yeah. Watch all the blessings that fall upon me. Watch all the blessings that fall upon me. 1 by 1, 2 by 2, 3 by 3. 1 and 2 and 3. Oh yeah. Watch all the blessings that fall upon me. Watch all the blessings that fall upon me.